amount of jokers and hucksters and pure fraudsters in this market, epic. The challenge is going to be the level of anonymity you're going to allow, because if you allow pervasive anonymity, real strong anonymity, then they're going to be able to have all sorts of scams and never able to punish anybody, and I don't think that's good for the world. That's not consistent with my view of compliant crypto.
Hey everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and that was the former SEC Commissioner Joseph Grunfest. He was on the Thinking Crypto channel. That's Tony's channel. And Mr. Grunfest is a great conversationalist, and Tony is a great listener. So the two of them together created a really top-notch video. He talks a lot about Ripple and XRP, so we're going to hear from him again in another short clip. In this video also, we're going to take a look at Satoshi's last public post. That is back from December 12th, 2010, when Bitcoin was only trading at 17 cents. There's a wallet that was created in October, just a couple of months before he disappeared, or she disappeared, or they disappeared, went dark, basically. 489 Bitcoin that have been just sleeping since October 2010 have moved. That is about $20 million at today's value. So it's estimated that the Bitcoin that Satoshi had or has is around 1.1 million. And today's worth would be about 40 billion. So when anything moves after laying quiet for 11 years, I think it gets everybody's attention. Also, I want to take a look at two high-profile responses to the executive order that came from President Biden. And there are three noteworthy changes in Asia, yet you really want to know what's going on over here because there's a big change in crypto tax, there is a crypto-friendly election, and also some stricter rules for following the outline when you send crypto. That seems to be where the trend is going here in Japan. Managing Director of Europe, yes, for Ripple, that would be Cindy Young. She is talking a lot about XRP, so we're going to hear from her also. First, the market. Taking a glance at gold, you can see that it's trading at 1,974, off a little bit from its highs earlier in the week. Same with silver, platinum, palladium, all off, but holding their own. And when we jump over to crypto, Bitcoin is really trying to move higher, and the rest of the market is trying to follow. It's currently trading at 39,883. We've got a few really big gains happening in the top 100 by market cap. There's Stacks up 27%. That is a smart contracts platform for Bitcoin, yet formerly Blockstack. They did a rebrand in Q4 of 2020. I think the rebrand is working for them. They have the Digital Currency Group and the Winklevoss twins as their investors. Yeah, I'm very interested in this project. And then there is Kadena up 32%, Thorchain up 19%, and Zcash up 11%. Those are your big gainers. Now, when we talk about rebranding, yes, I have a strong opinion about something, and I want to explain why. The Flare Finance is doing a rebrand, and they have chosen FLR. FLR is the Flare Network token. So I have been fighting this confusion for more than a year and a half in trying to explain to people that Flare Finance is totally separate from Flare Network. Flare Network is a smart contracts platform, and Flare Finance is just an application that's being built on top of that network. But because they both shared the name Flare, a lot of people thought they were one and the same. And so when they decided to rebrand and take FLR, Well, that's still Flare, and that stands for the Flare Network Token. So I don't think this is a successful rebrand, and I really think it's going to continue to confuse the community. And that is why I came out and spoke very strongly that I oppose the use of FLR. I mean, if you just would give me a dime for every time that I have explained that they are not one and the same, oh, it's been frustrating. And so, yeah, I did get a little bit on a strong opinion, but I think I'm justified because if you talk to the content creators, it is an ongoing problem for the confusion of people who are not understanding that the two are separate entities. And yeah, I hope you understand that it's really for the benefit of the community to not get these two mixed up. And I want to thank Jordan here because he stepped in and said that he had offered his services and that they could call him anytime and he would help. And he came up with a couple of different names, which I think is just really the way to handle it. So I want to thank Jordan for being such a kind individual and somebody who's really out there trying to help people in the community. I just was, feeling really strong at the time I put that tweet out, because even 8 or 9 people in that thread still had it mixed up, so you can see that it is a big problem, and I think they need a name that is entirely different. Here are 3 short clips from Cindy Young. She's the managing director for Ripple in Europe. I found these clips. They were uploaded about 2 or 3 weeks ago, only 14 views, so I don't think anyone has heard them. Here you go.
I'm Sandy Young. I'm Ripple's Managing Director for Europe, based in London, and I oversee our strategy and business growth across the continent, specifically focused on RippleNet, which is essentially best known for the ODL, on-demand liquidity solution, which essentially leverages crypto, specifically digital assets, XRP, to allow enterprises to send money across the borders in a more sort of transparent, low cost and efficient and instant way. We've really sort of expanded from cross-border payments to a platform of more tokenized services to allow crypto capabilities for enterprises to really help prepare them for a more crypto-enabled future. And our focus has really been very much from the beginning focused on real world use cases around crypto and blockchain, right? From the onset, we've always focused on developing and building solutions that will move and tokenize value, not so much focused on these hypes and speculation and ups and downs, but really building for the long term. And it's a really exciting time at the moment to be at the forefront of this industry with Ripple and demonstrating how crypto can help enterprises, banks, fintechs, SMEs, lots of different parties here, how we can help them address a number of global liquidity challenges to scale faster and more efficiently. Once again, so Ripple stand as a market leader in blockchain and crypto solutions, enterprise solutions. We've seen our payments volume run rates of exceeding $10 billion, more than doubling from previous year. Similar transaction numbers are more than doubling. Our on-demand liquidity sort of solution, which has been in about sort of 3-4 markets in 2020, is now available in 22 markets. We're super excited. I think we'll see many more markets around the world becoming more open to the benefits of crypto and more adoption across the industry, but also with Ripple solutions.
Grayscale, who, by the way, is sending a kickback to Goldman Sachs if they send a customer their way for their Ethereum product, weighed in on the executive order that came from Biden in regards to digital assets. They are highlighting the no ban or no curtailed use. Also, they acknowledged the potential for crypto, which made them feel very positive, and also the support for continued research. But I think who really had a good summary was the Bitwise General Counsel and COO. That would be Catherine Dowling. Have a listen.
On Wednesday morning, President Biden signed the long-awaited executive order on cryptocurrency, and we wanted to discuss a couple of the key takeaways from the executive order. The order is a clear embrace of the technology behind crypto. It suggests what we've picked up in terms of themes with regard to increased crypto literacy among members of Congress, increased resources being allocated toward an understanding, dialogue with businesses in the space. So it's a tremendous positive to see that crypto is being embraced and an acknowledgement that crypto is not going away. The overarching tone of the order was balance. It was a clear acknowledgement that there are rewards and there are risks, and that we need to look at the whole spectrum in order to better understand the space. One area that I thought was particularly interesting is an acknowledgement that not all digital assets are the same. And there was an ask to look into and examine further how there are differences and how those differences are important to note because they shouldn't all be treated the same and they shouldn't all be regulated the same. So the executive order provided a number of broad topics where more information is needed. Crucial, important information on both the rewards and the risks of crypto. Once we have those reports, then we can create legislation from a better and more educated space. The executive order has now landed, and it's clear that the United States is not going to be sitting in the audience any longer. The United States is pushing to be not just on the global stage for crypto, but to be one of the directors of how this all plays out. And that's tremendously important.
Here we are on the bitcointalk.org, and it's where you can find the very last public post from Satoshi. It is about 10 sentences long, and he's talking about also this conversation that he had with Gavin Woods. And there's a quick build before venturing into more complex ideas, it is said, and some DOS controls because, well, it wasn't resistant to a DOS attack at that time. And also there's a removal of a temporary measure for safe mode. It's quite interesting. You can go back through and look at the conversations as it was being tested and built out and getting comments from other people in the community at that time. Yeah, so, well, we've got at that same time then when there were 489 Bitcoin put into this address, which, by the way, had transacted over the Bitcoin blockchain 26 times, but it has been asleep for 11 years until now, just in the last day, 489 were transferred to another wallet. So the current value of this particular address is 0, and we just don't know. You only can speculate what's going on. 3 things that's going on in Asia. We have Thailand holding off the 15% tax on crypto. It is to encourage use. Boy, they have seen a huge rise in volume, 600% up from November 2020 to April 2021. So they are really encouraging the use of cryptocurrency. And then we have in South Korea, they're pretty lucky. Their new president is very crypto friendly. He loves Bitcoin. And then CoinCheck, one of the bigger exchanges here in Japan, they are requiring users to give full details of who they are sending their crypto to. So that could be a trend for Japan. All right, everybody, let's jump to the fluff. I have someone who's followed me for a very long time who loves Gundam. So anytime I see Gundam, I think of him. And there is a Yokohama port that is having a big display, 7 floors of Gundam. One of my favorites that they have is up on the 7th floor where they are hanging a life-size Gundam inflatable from the ceiling. Yeah, I like it a lot. And if you are in Yokohama, you have to go to Tokiwa. There is a line, beware, but you can get a plate of sushi, or I should say a board of sushi, that looks like this for about $10 US. That's why there is a long line every day. Tokiwa sushi. And the person I've been talking about for a long time who came up with the concept of a very affordable house that's printed with a 3D printer. Well, he did it, and it turned from concept phase, which you see here, to a lot of buzz about reinventing the house, to actually achieving it. And today he had his first house that he was able to print in less than 24 hours. It was 23 hours and 12 minutes. This one is going to Aichi Prefecture, but you can see that they are quite beautiful, and you can put the amenities on the inside so that they can be lived in. Look at this location. Wow. I think it looks very good. And the inside interior is actually very dreamy. I could easily do that. The cost is about 25,000 US dollars. So for a second home or something in the backyard, I think it makes a lot of sense, especially if you can find a piece of property that looks like this. So I'm going to let Mr. Grunfest take you out one more time. This is the clip that I thought was really good, where he's talking about XRP and Ripple. And he is the former SEC commissioner, remember. And you can find the video in its entirety on the Thinking Crypto channel by Tony. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.
And I'm an XRP holder, full disclosure. And I was affected by this lawsuit. And I'm very angry about it as well, and so many other folks, because we see a lot of things with former Chair Clayton, and as well as Bill Hinman, a lot of speeches, a lot of connections with folks involved in Ethereum and Bitcoin. And the way this lawsuit was handled, it just seems to be some level of impropriety. And obviously, I don't want to make accusations because we don't have full proof. And I know you also sent a letter to Chair Clayton about this lawsuit to not file it because of the optics and how things would look. What's your take on this whole situation?
So number one, I just want to be clear. No suggestion of impropriety that I have against anybody at all.
Sure.
Zero. Right? It couldn't be more emphatic about that. Zero. My question is judgment. Right? And judgment is different than impropriety. And, it's hardly a secret. I had questions about the judgment involved in bringing the lawsuit against XRP. I had questions about the timing. I had questions about the implications. I had questions about policy. Is this a matter that's really best addressed from a social perspective by bringing a lawsuit, or is it better addressed by saying, let's look at our regulations? It should be clear to look. The issue for me is let's get a system that works and that generates compliant crypto. And this lawsuit, it's a high probability that no matter who wins, actually gets us farther away from a good solution.
Sure.
Because if the SEC wins, then we've got a crazy regime where we're going to try to fit, square pegs into round holes. That's not good for the peg, it's not good for the hole, and it's not good for the person trying to make an unnatural act happen. And if XRP wins, then arguably one of the very few cops we have on the beat winds up being weakened in a way that ideally you don't have them weakened. So, from a social perspective, you can say, look, no matter how this turns out, we're going to be losers.